So this is the project I'm going to show you how to make today using a technique of partial die cutting to create pop-ups. I used the butterfly die from Life is Beautiful along with a sentiment from Life is Beautiful and some flowers from the Make It Market Beautiful Brushstrokes kit. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a panel of Stampers Select white cardstock, which I have cut here already. It's slightly smaller than an A2 card base. And I'm going to position my Life is Beautiful largest butterfly die right in the center of that panel. And then I'm going to secure that with a Post-it note. You could also use a piece of washi tape or something just to hold that nicely in place there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to position our cutting plates on the die cut machine so that we are not going to cut out the center portion of the butterfly. We're going to leave that intact so that we can let the wings kind of pop up. So to do that, I'm going to put my panel and die on my cutting plate in my sandwich there, and then I'm going to take my top cutting plate and I'm going to position that with the edge right along the edge of the wing here, so that this wing portion will cut, everything up to where I have the edge of my cutting plate will cut, but this will not, so we'll leave it intact. And just a little hint, it's easier if you start your die cutting machine, if you position your plates so that this edge that's set here is not going in the machine first. It's easier to have the other end going in first. So that being said, let me just go ahead and run that through my machine. You'll have to kind of help it along a little bit, make sure those plates don't shift out of position. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the other side of the wing. I'm going to take my plate and this time position it on this half of the wing. So that again, I'm going to leave that center body of the butterfly intact. Okay, so let's see how we did. There we go, perfect. You can see how where I positioned the plates, it did not cut the center of the butterfly. So that left it intact. So then what we can do is we can go ahead and just pop these wings up. Kind of a cool effect. This will work well with really any dies that are symmetrical, or you could get creative with even things that aren't symmetrical. You could do this with, would be cool with flower dies. You could maybe pop up some of the flowers or some of the leaves. That would be kind of neat too. So we're going to go ahead and pull out all of these. And you can see where the antenna cut partially as well, so we can kind of pop those up also. And if you discover after pulling your die out that it didn't cut far enough into the center, you didn't cut as far as you wanted it to, you can just go ahead and position that die back over the top, and you can run it through your machine again and reposition those plates maybe a little further in to get a deeper cut. So don't give up if it didn't work out the first time. Just reposition the plates and run it through again. Kind of a fun pop-up partial die cutting technique. Okay, so that was super simple, and now I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on the front of my card before I assemble everything. I have the beautiful stamp from Life is Beautiful, the large script sentiment, which is so pretty, and I'm going to stamp that right below the butterfly using true black ink. Okay, and then I have the little Have A stamp, also from Life is Beautiful. And we're going to stamp the sentiment so it says, have a beautiful day. I'm going to position this, nestle that right in there. And then I have the little day stamp, which we're going to position just right down here. Okay, and then to finish it off, I'm going to add a little bit of stamping. I have some of the flower stamps from the Beautiful Brushstrokes kit. And I'm using Berry Sorbet ink. I'm just going to add just a few here and there. Some flowers and some leaves. I'm using Berry Sorbet, and I'm going to stamp off for the smaller flowers. And what you can do, you can see how I'm flipping the butterfly wing up here so that it's not in the way of my stamping. Okay, and then I'm going to add some leaves using Tropical Teal. And this color is really strong, so I'm going to be stamping off before I stamp it onto my project, just because I want a little bit softer look. I love the color. Tropical Teal is such a beautiful color, even if full strength or stamped off. And again, I'm going to flip that butterfly wing up so I can do some stamping underneath there. Have another little flower sprig, also from Beautiful Brushstrokes, and I'm just going to add a few of those coming off of the flower clusters as well. Okay, so that finishes our stamping, and then I'm going to add, before I adhere this to my card base, I'm going to show you here how I took another die cut butterfly and layered it underneath the partially cut one so that we can get a fun layered effect. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this panel over, and then I'm going to position this other die cut right in there. You can see I'm just going to make sure it's lined up. I can kind of tuck that in there. And then I'm going to take my adhesive. I'm going to add adhesive, and I'm going to make sure that when I add my adhesive, I'm catching some of the edges of this teal die cut butterfly. It's just an easy way to line things up instead of trying to adhere it in the right place to my card base. This way I can do it all in one step. I'll just flip that over and adhere that. This is a Berry Sorbet card base. And there we go. We can pop up the butterfly wings and the antenna. And you can see how we get a beautiful pop-up effect. That's all for today. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have fun playing around with this pop-up technique. I can't wait to see what you make. Thanks for joining me. This has been Betsy Veldman for Papertrey Ink.